Phil Foden might be a very good player, but is not yet a world-class player. Welcome back to the Football Tribe YouTube channel. Robert Kesakos is my name. Thank you for those that have dedicated your time to watching our content, and thank you for those that have subscribed. If you're new here, do not forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on your notification bell so that you can be notified once we put out new content. Anyways, I hope you're having a wonderful week. I hope you're enjoying the European Championships, those that are taking place in Germany. Quite very entertaining for me personally. Yesterday, Ponsecao scoring a late winner for Portugal as they beat up against Czech Republic to win it by 2-1. Croatia just shared the spoils there with Albania in a 2-2 draw. So it's really getting lovely as we've now entered into match day 2 of the tournament. But anyways, back on the topic, which is Phil Foden. Yes, a very good player, very dynamic player, very exciting player to watch, but I do think he's not yet a world-class player. Now, yes, one would argue that it's a little too early to decide, but I mean, at the age of 24, now is the time that you begin to show signs that you're not just a very good player, that you can be a world-class player. Recently, as England beat up against Serbia in that 1-0 victory, thanks to Jude Bellingham's only goal of the game that won it for Gary Southgate's side, Phil Foden was a poor show, had a poor game. He was basically a shadow of himself, and of course, as one would expect, the English media have jumped to his defense. I think, Micah Richards speaking about him, saying, it's about the system, it's coming from wide and deep, and all those things. I mean, yes, they may want to defend him, but I mean, if they want him to be a world-class player, if they think he's a world-class player, world-class players are way past systems. Even in a bad system, a world-class player will rise up to the occasion and be the star and put his imprint on the game and be the motivating factor and carry the team on his shoulders, if that should be the case. And Phil Foden has not done that. Far as English football goes, for those that do support the English football team, you do know that Bukayo Saka on a number of occasions has carried that team on his shoulders. We've seen Harry Kane rise up to the occasion, to turn up the goods when it really matters. And that's how they managed to reach the semi-finals of the FIFA World Cup back in 2018. That's how they managed to reach the finals of the Euro 2020, the just concluded edition, although that was played in 2021. So they did lose in the finals, of course, in a penalty shootout against Italy. But some of those players have risen to the occasion, which I think Phil Foden has not yet done. So I do think he's not a world-class player. Last season, he managed 55 appearances in all competitions for Manchester City, scored 26 goals and completed 12 assists. In the Premier League alone, he managed 35 appearances, scoring 19 goals and 8 assists. Very incredible. He was the star man of that team, for me, in my opinion, by a mile. And even on the final day, he turned up with the goods. We all remember him in the Manchester derby. He rose up to the occasion and put Manchester United to the sword. When it mattered the most against West Ham, on the final day when they had to, win that game to lift their 4th Premier League title, he rose up to the occasion and put the goods on the table. But then again, we've seen it one too many times, or at least I have seen it one too many times, where an English player is very good, almost spectacular at their club, but when it comes to their national team, they just do not turn up well enough, or they just do not deliver to the expectations for their quality. Case in point for me was always Wayne Rooney. Very sensational at Manchester United, very good for the England national team as far as qualifiers were concerned, especially the European Championship qualifiers. But when it came to the main tournaments, to the major tournaments, he was never sure. He was a shadow of himself, So over the years, England has had those types of players who are very good at their clubs. They are highly respected. They're putting in very good performances one after the other. But when it comes to big stages, when it comes to major tournaments like the FIFA World Cup, like the European Championship, they really never get it right. They seem to sort of die out. They seem to coil down. And then, of course, the media shields them with all these excuses of, being in a new system, the manager is not, deploying them well, the manager is not doing ABCD, it is where they've been deployed. I mean, uh, give you an example again. Allow me use the example of Bukayo Saka. There's a time he's had to be played at left back. Not that that's where he would prefer to play, but when you put him at left back, he will still deliver because that's the role he's been given to play in the team. He will still try to inspire the team. Whether you think he's a world class player or not, that's not a debate we will have today because he's not the topic of this conversation. Phil Foden is. So, I mean, he has to step up at the age of 24. Now is the time for you to step up, to rise to the occasion. You've done it at the club, that is at Manchester City. Yes, you're surrounded by all these very, very good players at Manchester City, but so are you with the national team. I mean, you're surrounded with Jude Bellingham, very, very good player. You're surrounded with the likes of Harry Kane. You're playing with Bukayo Saka. You're playing with Declan Rice. You're playing with Kyle Walker. You're playing with Kieran Trippier. You're playing with John Stones. All these are very, very decent players. You're playing with Kobe Mino. Yes, Kobe Mino is still far from the classification of a very, very good player or even world-class player because he's only had one successful season. But he is a good player. You get. So you're playing around all these kinds of players that are bordering world-class and, being sensational. I mean, what more could you ask for you to show us that you're exceptional, that you're playing among these very good players, but you are exceptional, that you are world class? It takes, you must have the cautions to take the game in your stride, to hold that ball by both horns and lead that team and inspire that team and do that is unique, that you can actually pull off to guide your team to victory, to carry your team through in the difficult moments, to show direction, not in the form of leadership by screaming at other players, but in the way you're playing, in the way you're inspiring the team. That's what world class players do. No matter how much the media will try to sugarcoat it, he did not perform against Serbia. And of course, their next game is tomorrow when they play against Denmark. That's the Denmark of Christian Eriksen and Kasper Schmeichel. Sorry. So that's the team they will be facing tomorrow at 7 p.m. While the other game will be between Spain and Italy at 10 p.m. That's East African time. But early on, it will be between Slovenia and Serbia that will kick off things in the Euro tomorrow. That's for tomorrow's fixtures. So Phil Foden has to rise up. He needs to make himself count. Otherwise, I mean, he could easily lose his position in that team because England do have an Anthony Gordon waiting on the bench to be given game time. They do have a Cole Palmer there who had a very decent season last season, waiting to be called on. And with the national team, usually you do not get a lot of second chances. You do not get one too many chances for you to be given time to deliver on your expectations, especially at such big tournaments. Because once you're given match one, match two, and you're not delivering the goods, then the manager who arguably wants to win the title is going to have to look at his other options and say, no, this one will have to start ahead of you. So do let me know what your thoughts are about Phil Foden and his performance for the England national team. Of course, personally, I would love him to start in the game against Denmark, be given another opportunity to show his quality because he really has it. But he needs to show us that he is an exceptional player, that he is a world-class player. Otherwise, for now, he has yet to show us that. Anyway, do let me know what your thoughts are on that and any other matter as far as English players that tend to underperform go on the national team. Do let me know whether it is historical, whether it is current. to let me know your thoughts down in the comment section, and I'll see you next time. Otherwise, stay blessed and have a wonderful rest of the week. See you next time.